Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 12th episode of Concerned Dabs podcast. I am your host, Katie M. Kane. With me is my co host, Will Terps.
Yo, yo.
Sup, Will? So, tonight's guest, ladies and gentlemen, we have Ryan Lutz so far from Pollination Elite Genetics, Elephant Farms, Elephant Extracts, and Sweet Leaf Extractors. We're also hoping to get Ari Lopez on the phone too. If we can't get him on the horn, then I'm sure Ryan can handle it.
Yeah,
Do you guys
I'm
have
sure I can. I know a limited amount of what's going on with him, but I hit him up and hopefully he's going to be on here.
word? Yeah, and so usually we do like a small intro and talk about what we did the week before, but since we got you on the horn, dude, and we've been talking for a little bit before we went live, I want to just go ahead and get right into the cookie cutter questions.
Cool.
Can you? I know I introduced you, but I just want to hear you. Can you please state your name, your company's states, and whether recreational or medical?
I'm I'm originally from Colorado, where Pollination Elite Genetics started. I moved out here to Oregon, where I've been running Elephant Farms, and we're recreational marijuana and seed breeding, and doing our best to provide incredible cannabis.
Dope, man, dope. So you started out breeding in Colorado. Were you guys like medical or recreational there? Like, was that
No, actually, that was before that even started. I mean, that was my partner Ryan is actually the one who is the magician with the breeding. Ryan Rice from Windsor, Colorado. He's seriously an amazing breeder, and I've worked with him for a long time, and he made some incredible lines, and that was back in the day. And that's where I found the passion for it. That's where I found the incredible to make more seeds and to make better genetics.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That work is really important, and it's good that people who are talented at it are gravitating towards it.
Right?
Because to me too, man, it looks like a decently profitable business. You know what I mean? Like just based on the numbers of
Yeah.
what one can yield. I'm like, damn, that's a lot at retail. Like you can cut some pretty good deals and still be okay.
No, I'm definitely enjoying the profits from it, but at the same time, I mean, it's not even that. I mean, you make a little bit of money from it, but I'm not like the Cookie family trying to bring out $500 packs of seeds or anything like that, which is
Yeah,
foolish to me. I mean, share the genetics to people. Let it be affordable. Let people grow your
I
stuff.
agree. I agree. Sometimes I feel like 200
Def-
for a 10 pack too. I'm like, man, $20 a seed. Like for
That's
real.
ridiculous when you're getting
Yeah,
2,000 seeds per plant. I mean,
I
anyone that's
agree.
willing to pay that, it just blows my mind.
I agree, man. I agree. So my next cookie cutter question, Ryan, is what inspired the move to Oregon? I know I talked about this
That was
with you
actually,
before we went live, but I want to hear the story again for the YouTube folks.
yeah, Ryan and I actually came out here to Oregon and were kind of touring around, and we were coming to meet Ari over a grow opportunity with him, and that's how we actually ended up meeting up with you guys. I found out was we went to a dispensary and we're repping pollination and wanted some Geek Farms Doctor Who, and you guys came into the picture. But anyways, we met up with Ari, and Ari sent me down to Southern Oregon for a while and started to grow down there. And my grandma ended up getting sick, so I had to fly back to Colorado, take care of her for about a year, and things were booming up here again. So I moved back out to Oregon and in 2017 and started growing weed out here, and have been loving it ever since.
Hell yeah, dude, that's dope. I remember seeing you guys on the Elephant Farms IG, and it would just
Right?
like it reminds me of Pat from Heroes of the Farm now. Like you guys that have like
I,
this
I'm
huge
super
work area
impressed
of
with
the shit.
him. That guy's an inspiration for me. I mean, he seriously
Yeah.
rocks it. That is
Well, dude.
seriously a sheer G. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's got a huge business plan. He's going forward. I have nothing but respect.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, you guys used to give me that same feeling too, man, with your posts, because it'd be like 400 plants, man, and it's like outside and everything looks butter, and it'd be like, yo, we just did all this today with 5 guys, and I'm like,
Right?
holy shit, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of work, bro, and it's good to have a team that can put in work like that and get shit done, you know?
I think we got a team of 6 right now, and we're trying for 2,000 this year. So
Damn,
with the greenhouses,
damn, damn, hell yeah, man, that's crazy. So
but
my next, okay, no, no, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt.
no, no, go ahead.
Okay, so what was it like transitioning and like adapting to the climate in Oregon as opposed to Colorado? Like, did the elevation change and the temperature and humidity? Like, how much different was it? And like, how well do you guys think you did the first year?
The temperature and humidity were not huge factor, but well, I guess the humidity was a little bit, but for some reason, I mean, the mold out here is ridiculous. And I know that has something to do with the humidity, but we're around a bunch of vineyards, and I guess they use the Tritus mold to ripen their grapes during harvest
Ah,
season, which passes on to all the marijuana farms that are all around here in Oregon, and it
yeah.
rocks farms around here all the time. And that's the only difficulty we really found with that. That and the wonderful russet mites, which I'm sure many farms have had bouts with.
Yeah, dude. One year for me, it was broad mites, and
Yep, those
it
are
took me
similar to
like
the
two
russets,
weeks.
but
Yeah, it took me like 2 weeks to figure it out, bro. Like it was always in the new
yeah,
growth, and shit looked like orange, and it was twisting up, like it had some kind of nutrient burn. And I'm like,
exactly.
man,
You
dude,
have
everything's
no idea
paged,
until your
everything's on
plant is
point,
infected to the maximum. You
dude.
have no
Yeah, and
clue until it's totally infected, which
yeah,
sucks, especially when you have 1,000 plants in a small room.
hell yeah, dude. And you can't see those broad like 100 times scope. So like, I kept looking and not seeing anything, and then once I got my lube in there, I was like, oh
I'm
shit,
telling
man,
you, there's
they're
this
everywhere.
1999 scope on Amazon. Just look it up. It's a digital microscope for your phone. It's
Word.
1999 on Amazon. Awesome. You can see the russet mites, no problem. I mean, incredible.
Dope. What did you got a name for it, man? I'm trying to write this shit down
No,
real
I don't
quick.
have a name for it, but look it up. It's a phone microscope on Amazon, and I guarantee you'll find it. 1999. I haven't even seen it advertised
Microscope.
on Facebook.
No doubt. I bet you Facebook's gonna hit me up with an ad tomorrow or later on tonight now.
Yep, exactly. Just because we talked about it.
Yeah, bro. My phone's sitting right here in
That's
front
the
of me
truth
with the
too. That is
questions
the
on it.
truth.
Yeah, yeah.
I've actually had that happen when I've been driving and talking about something. It pops up on my advertisement screen. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, man. They're listening all the time, man, trying to sell you something.
Yep.
Were like the pests similar in Oregon as Colorado?
Um.
Like, did you guys?
Yeah. I guess. I mean, I've had spider bites in both places. The russet mites were mainly out here in Oregon, but
Okay.
I've never really had problems with pests. I mean, everything that's always been taken care of for the most part.
Yeah.
The mold was a definite problem though. That was a shocker for me. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, dude, it's a heartbreaker when you got some huge colas and you break one open and it's brown on the inside. Like,
Yeah, it
yeah,
destroys everything, and they're so beautiful. I've got
yeah,
so many good pictures of stuff, and it turned to trash. But
yeah,
whatever. I guess that's what
yeah,
distillate's for, huh?
yeah, pretty much, dude. I had a super terrible year in 2013 to where it was like I threw away basically 90% of my crop.
Uh-oh.
And it was
Right.
like fucking 18 plants. I was medical back then, just a storm hit, and we were in the ground instead of above the ground on pots, and it just fucking soaked everything. And I don't know, it was heartbreaking. Usually we'd have a trim party, and
That
it was basically a throwaway weed party. Like, nope, this is fucked, throw it away. This is fucked, throw it away. Like, oh,
like in
killed me.
Colorado, you had to worry about the cold or the snow at the very end of the season. You had to worry about something like that. Out here, the rain just destroys everything. I mean, if you're not covering your plants at the very end or getting it in time, it fucks them up. I mean, it that rain and the mold and everything just destroys everything.
Yep. Yeah, man. You can still grow bomb in Oregon, but you got to work with what you got, man. And
Yeah,
adapting
greenhouse
to the climate
light
is
depth.
tough.
That's where it's at. I don't know what anyone else has to say about that, but I think that that's where it's at. You get the light from the sun, you get the power from that. You don't have to spend money on electricity, and you can have
Yep.
the bomb weed in a controlled environment.
Yep. So, can I ask you a question about which date do you guys usually start depping? Like, are you guys starting right now?
No, actually, we're not actually doing that right now, but that's the plan. We're actually we have I think about 1,000 clones about to go into a greenhouse, and we're going to let them veg for about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and pop those tarps and flower them out. And we also have
Tight.
our big monster plants out there as well. So I mean, but the light depth is where it's at.
No doubt, man. No doubt. So my next cookie cutter question, what were the numbers on production for your crew the first year? Like, are you comfortable with sharing that? Like, how many plants did you have, and how many guys,
Yeah,
and everything came down
uh,
afterwards? Like, because I like hearing shit about that. Like, we did this many plants, pulled this many packs, used this many guys, we got
yeah.
done at this, like,
Like you said before, it was 5 guys running this team, and we had 1,600 plants out there, and they were some beasts. And it ran perfectly. Everything went great until the very end when the mold hit, and that was mainly in the cure section. So we got about 1,600 plants or 1,600 pounds of usable product at the time, which isn't anything special, but I mean it was a good first harvest for us. I mean, well, it wasn't even the first. I guess 2016 was the first harvest. That was kind of a test run. But 2017 was a good first harvest. We had incredible plants. It was a great learning experience, and it got me a chance to actually learn how Oregon runs and how to deal with problems and I guess succeed in this type of market.
yeah,
With
dude, what? Yeah,
there's so
can
much
you,
competition, so
dude? Yeah, can you talk about that a little bit? Because the numbers are pretty grim on most of the articles I read. That I mean, the one that stood
well
out the most said that
the
350,000 packs moved through Oregon stores in a year, but 1.2 million packs came down in harvest in 2017 and also in 2018. So that leaves like a surplus of 1.5 million packs. You know what I mean?
yeah, everyone's talking about these 6 year plus pounds and stuff like that, or 6 year plus weight. But at the same time, it's going to be trash soon. I mean, all the stuff that's been waiting for years and years and years, that stuff's just garbage. So they need to discontinue that and know that that's going to be burned. No one wants to smoke that crap. But
No. Do
there's
you think
so
it's
much
still
competition out
salvageable?
here.
Do you think it's still
Yeah,
salvageable
if anything,
for distillate?
it's going to distillate. Distillate's going to be the market. Everyone likes those pens. Everyone loves that stuff. So I think that's going to be a huge market for it. But at the same
Word.
time, Oregon fucked up by making too many companies available to the market, and everyone wanted to grow their farm. Everyone wanted these huge farms, and the product just flowed in. And Oregon's not that big. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
decent sized state, but there's just not that many people in there to support this huge market. So
Nah,
a lot
dude. There's
of a
like,
lot of pounds started flowing out the back door, and everyone started getting pissed off about that. But at the same time, the government brought it on themselves.
yeah, dude. Like, that's a huge surplus. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I don't know, like that had to be tough for guys who had this certain number on their spreadsheet, and
Yeah,
Now it's
exactly.
like,
I'm glad that I was with a
man,
solid team and we actually had a good plan and everything worked out and it was. But I knew some people that they didn't go that route and they grew a lot of stuff and I don't know what happened.
yeah, and like there's only I think 3 million people that live in the state of Oregon. So it's like there's literally a half pound of weed for every man, woman, and child in the state, you know?
Exactly.
That's yeah, so like
But
you're
at the
saying
same
that
time, the
there's
weed out here is dirt cheap. I mean, the weed out here is very cheap and it's supreme too. There's a lot of $3 grams, which actually aren't that bad. I'm pretty much a pot
nah.
snob. I don't smoke that stuff anyway. I mean, but I've seen some stuff that I was like, wow, that's not bad. But at the same
Yeah.
time, there's really good pot for $10 a gram, $9 a gram, and
Yeah.
like Doghouse Genetics, Geek Farms. I mean, U Green Genetics. Oh my goodness, U Greens. I have to give them props for sure. They're growing some incredible organic farms weed. I mean,
No
it's
doubt.
truly impressive.
Yeah, those $3 in the market, in my opinion. It's like, it's at least I think the market will level itself out, but people like the average consumer is so much more interested in buying like the best deal or like the highest THC for the price. And
Right, and that highest
when
THC is a joke too. That is such a joke.
absolutely.
The THC amount, I find that just incredibly. People think that 32% they're getting that on an outdoor stuff. Yeah, they may be getting that, but it's not quality stuff, and you're not getting the terpenes and the CBD to activate it. And it's just
Exactly.
it's crap.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
But
Um,
I mean, that the test results say it's this and this, and I really don't believe that half the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Especially when
I
I've seen a lot of people from they've had say 3 different tests from the same exact crop, and they're all different, like very different. It's like how did that
yeah,
happen from
man.
the same room?
I agree. Like the
How
variation and all
accurate
that
is it?
stuff. Well, I think there was an article too about one company, and it wasn't with flour; it was with their carts or something. They had a certain percentage posted on the label, and when I can't remember which magazine did it, but they took the carts and got them tested, retested after they purchased them, and the numbers were way less. So it's like
Yep.
they cut the oil with some alcohol or something, or like diluted it in some manner and after the lab test, so people were actually getting less potency than what the label was saying. So it was like,
And that should be a crime right
damn,
there. I mean, that's like say on food or something.
yeah,
They put something different. I mean, that's wrong.
yeah, I agree, man. Deception is not okay. That's when I moved down here to Phoenix and I got my card, that was my main issue with the dispensary was the guy behind the counter couldn't tell me anything about it. And I'm like, well, was this
I
soil or was
found that
this
a lot of
hydro?
problems with that.
And he
Yeah.
knows nothing, and like sometimes the dispensary has a grow, right? Like that comes with your license. If you get a retail one down here,
Right.
you get production too, and you can do it on the same premises and everything. And I would ask him like, well, dude, you guys grow it right here, man. Is it? And he's like, oh, well, we don't really disclose that. I'm like, why? I'm a patient buying medicine. You're not gonna tell me how you produced it? Are you serious? And he just was
Yeah.
trying to be like act all secretive and shit. And I'm just like, come on, guy. Like, I got this many dollars to spend with you. You're gonna really watch me walk out the door? And he did. And I was like, all right, peace.
Yeah. That's
I mean, look
I
at
hate that. I
Leafly
think
and Weed Maps.
if you're going to work in a dispensary or something, you need to have a little bit of knowledge about your product and your growers and your farms and whatnot. You
Hell yeah.
it's the same thing of working in anything. You need to have knowledge in what you're doing. If you're going to work in a jewelry shop, you obviously need to know about what you're doing and how to talk to people. So
Yeah, man, I agree. Effective communication is key. It's like I'm in here to buy something already. All you got to do is give me the info, man.
yeah,
You
just
know?
give me a little push and I'll take it. But I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of things, and my partner Ari, he owns a dispensary up in Lincoln City, which I want to rep that. It's the Terp Collective in Lincoln City, Oregon. Awesome dispensary,
Word.
great fucking bud, incredible fucking oil. It's a good shop. But
No
yeah, he
doubt.
some of the people that I've seen working there are just complete idiots, and which I've seen a lot of people get fired from there. So, but
Yeah.
it amazes me. You see some people and you think they're cool for a little while, and then you learn how they are, and it's like, oh my goodness,
Yeah,
why are
man.
people? But it is what it is.
Yeah. Yep. So
Also,
my next
another thing, I'm sorry Ari's not on here real quick, but I want to rep his elephant extracts. I don't know if anyone's heard of that up here in Oregon, but they used to produce some incredible shatter, and he's making some pretty much fantastic rosin right now. So if anyone's up in Oregon, pick up that shit.
no
Sorry about
doubt.
that.
Definitely.
Will, can you add something about that? Will is our Will Terps is our in-house oil guy, man. Elephant
Yeah,
extracts.
Yeah,
I mean
are you up in
it's
Oregon or have you?
I do live in Oregon. I've been back on the East Coast for a bit now, but
Gotcha.
yeah, I think I've had I tried elephant extracts a few years ago back in I think it was still the medical day. Yeah, I remember it being some
Yeah,
good
it was in
stuff.
the medical days because that's when they had their medical license, and the whole recreational thing kind of came in and shut the medical licenses down. I mean, they basically fell out. So
They
he had to
they
wait
had
until he got his
carts.
recreational license, and he decided to go to the rosin route.
Didn't they have carts too?
Yeah, they had tons of carts, tons and tons of carts.
Yeah, dude, I did intake and inventory at Human Collective for a few months back in 2015, and I remember their salesmen coming in and like the business model there was to mark everything up, either 350 for a gram of flour, $4 for an edible, and $5 for concentrates. And so
Right.
like fuck, like the carts they had were hella expensive, and I was just like, really? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, well, we're just gonna mark it up $5, and he's like, no, that's cool. And I'm like, do you think people are gonna buy those? And he's like, yeah, bro, they will. And I was like, we just grabbed 20 to start, you know what I mean? And they did. They were gone in like
Right.
2 days, bro. And they were
People
expensive
like
as
those
shit, like
carts, man.
80
People
bucks,
love that
like
shit.
80 bucks.
That's
Yeah, and
I mean,
it was
that's
the blood
all over
orange,
the nation. People love that shit.
blood
Yeah, I
orange
remember that
tangy
blood
is what
orange
it
shit.
was. Yeah,
Yep.
it was
I
fire,
think
bro.
I still I have a lot of carts from them right now, fucking, but it's I have smoked 1,000 something distillate carts, and that's where I've kind of learned to love and hate it at the same time. But you know,
Yeah,
they came through with at the start though, before anyone was doing that stuff, and brought that out, and people were just blown away. And
it was
yeah.
the taste,
that's
bro. The
that's an
terps
incredible
in
thing
there.
to me. That was an incredible thing to me. That's the first time I actually even heard distillate was when I talked to Ari for the first time.
A lot of the people that came into Natural Wonders, they got the carts, were people who worked in like the service industry or restaurants and stuff. Like chefs, waitresses,
Yeah.
and waiters
So
that need to step out, get a quick puff, and not smell like anything.
exactly, and I
Yeah,
think
man.
actually on the way back from Oregon when I got a bunch of pens from Ari when we came out here, I was smoking that walking through the airport. No one said a word to me, and I felt like a fucking. I was just like, wow, no one gives a shit. Everyone thinks I'm vaping.
Yeah, dude. I usually fly out with an ounce or two when I leave Oregon too, and I've never been pulled out of the line once. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah,
like,
I never have either. I just always put things in my carry on, and I've never had a problem.
yeah,
Yeah,
man,
the
same.
dogs are bomb sniffing dogs. They don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. I'm
exactly. They
like,
don't. They don't.
man.
And in fact, I've walked past them with an ounce of some dank ass Mac, and they didn't even.
Yep.
The dog didn't do
Yep.
shit to me, and it was in my backpack,
Yep.
and they didn't say a word about it.
Yep.
Okay, Ryan. So I'm gonna switch back to my cookie cutter questions here. I had two things just in case it was you and Ari, but I guess you can just say it from your point of view. What's one thing that you're most proud of as far as your journey in the cannabis industry?
I just think it's cool traveling around. I think that's everyone's duty to kind of travel around this world and see what different opportunities arrive to them. And like I said, I started out with I met Ryan Rice, and he had his seed production company, and me and him kind of joined up and he developed Pollination Elite Genetics, and I became a part of it, and it's just gone from there. And the incredible genetics that he produces has been something that's inspired me. And I moved out here to to Oregon, and started this farm, and we were growing a lot of Pollination Elite Genetics at that time. And I just strive to produce the best and do the best that I can. And this industry has given me that opportunity, and I've been waiting for that to happen, and it came legal, and it's been a good chance to actually develop what I wanted to do.
No doubt, man. Living the dream, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And I started out when I was 16, before it was illegal, before it was legal, and I thought everything was wonderful and everything was great then. And I was a little disappointed when it became legal, because I wasn't making thousands of dollars a pack. But at the same time, it's bringing it to millions of people now, and millions of people can enjoy this wonderful product, and it's not going to break their pocket for what I used to pay for it, I guess.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt them financially or literally in their health. Like nothing's going to, nobody's going to die or get cancer
Yeah, and it's
from
quality
cumulative
medicine. It's
use of the
tested. I
product.
mean, the testing, once again, I have skeptical about the THC levels and whatnot, but I think that's wonderful when they have it on pesticides and stuff, because we don't want that shit in our medicine.
No doubt. Like that's one thing I want to add too, Ryan, is once I moved down here, potency was the only thing listed on the label. And I'm like, you guys don't check for
Yeah,
pesticides? They're like, nah, it's not required. And it's going to be required starting August 27th. So that's cool. Like they made some changes, but they didn't change the
they
25
don't
mile
test for
rule.
mold. They don't test for
Yeah.
mold out here, and that is shocking to me. When I came from
Yeah.
Colorado, that was one of the first things they test for, and that's not
Dude.
the huge thing out here, which is a huge thing out here.
I talked about that, I think, on the regulation episode, because when it was medical, you had to pass a mold test as a medical grower to get on the shelf at a
Right,
dispensary. And
exactly. And
guys,
now all of a
guys
sudden the
really,
law got changed a little, or I don't know what happened, but
no, it's when it went rec. The rec
yep.
testing requirements didn't test for mold, and everybody's like, what the fuck? Because guys were proud of passing that test, like that shit happens
And
out
well,
here
like I was,
everywhere. So like to
yeah, like
pass
I was
that
talking
on
about, mold is we lost 30% of our crop in 2017 due to mold, and that's a
damn.
lot of people don't destroy it like we did. We got rid of that crap. We got rid of everything that we found that had anything to do with mold, and a lot of people
Yep.
don't do that. It's sold all over the place.
Yeah,
And
man.
I've had people complain about finding mold in their weed, from the dispensary, and we've talked to people about that, and that's just horrible. People shouldn't be
Yep.
dealing with that kind of crap. There should be quality
No,
control.
there should. And I think that like medical growers, if you have more than 2 cards, you got to get the metric license anyway. So it's like I think that they should not cap those guys at 20 packs to the dispensary, because they can
Yeah,
only sell 20 pounds to a dispensary in a year. And it's like those guys have to pass a mold test. You know what I mean? Like that,
you know,
like their product should
it,
be on the shelf more than everyone else's, because they have to be more stringent on their protocols and provide a more
totally, and they
safe
should be able to
product.
sell hundreds. Why is that capped on anything? They should be able to
Yeah,
sell whatever they got, especially if
I
it's the quality
agree.
that they want. That should be the craft cannabis. And like you were talking about
Hell
craft
yeah.
cannabis, that is where it's going to be. That is the future of this industry. Because if anyone thinks that they're going to be a big, huge cannabis grower or whatever, you're a joke. These big industries are going to take it the fuck over. It's going to be the micro brews, the craft cannabis, the small little grows that produce the super finest cannabis that survive. And that's
Yeah,
it.
man. I agree.
Other than
I
that, I mean,
agree.
these big businesses are going to take it over, because there's going to be greenhouses upon greenhouses upon greenhouses growing weed. But
Yeah,
unless you're
dude.
growing the super fire, you're gonna suffocate.
I agree. And it's man, the big money can hire big talent too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, that's a big money. As long as you got money, money is the hugest. Money is the worst thing and the best thing in the world. It's
Yeah.
the worst and the greatest thing in the world. I mean, it can destroy you or it can make you very successful. But most of the people, they get a lot of money and everything gets successful and they fall apart and they turn into complete assholes. And that's at least in my experience, money destroys people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I tried to keep the dream alive as long as I could, man, and trying to find a rec
No, totally,
investor or
totally.
anything. And it was just heartbreaking to finally come to the like, fuck, I gotta shake. I gotta figure
People
something else out.
people telling you they
But
want 50% of your fucking farm, and you're like, 50%? You gotta be shitting me.
yeah,
Fuck you.
yeah, man, it was rough. But like I'm glad it worked out the way it did because I don't owe a guy a bunch of money that I can't pay back with some
Yeah,
shit I
totally,
can't
man. And then
sell,
that's a huge thing too. And in your, at least you went that way, and a lot of people actually went the other way, and now they owe tons and tons of money and on a
Y-
fucked up dream.
Yeah, and I had a friend. I don't want to say his name because I want to try and get him on the show sometime in the future too, and I don't have his permission to
Yeah,
tell
totally.
this story. But he did the intake and inventory at Human Collective before I got there, and everybody liked him, and he was cool. And I remember him coming to the farm shop down the street where I worked before there, and coming and shaking hands with me and smoking one and talking shop. And after he left Human Collective, he got some property in Vernonia, Oregon, and it was just like 5 or 10 acres or something. And I just remember his IG feed. He was pumped up, like doing it. It was before they limited all the stacking cards. I think he did 100 plants that summer in 2015. I went back to it was 2017. My buddy Sweeney, who does the cashers, the pipe tool and the lighter, he had like a harvest party, and I ran into the homie there, and I was like, dude, what's up, man? How's Vernonia going, man? Like, what the fuck? And he was just like, man, I gave that up basically. I'm like, what? And he's like, he had there was a bunch of stickers and flyers and free swag on the tables everywhere. He's like, you see all that shit on the tables? I was like, yeah. He's like, that's me. I was like, that's your company? He's like,
Huh.
nah, I work for those guys. He's like, I work for them. I'm like, what? And he's like, man, he's like, they got $7 million, John. He's like, I
Wow.
can't compete with that, you know? He's like,
Yeah,
they
I
pay
couldn't
me a good
compete. And like I
wage.
said, money sometimes, I mean,
Yeah,
that'll put you in your place. You're like, oh
yeah,
shit, I can buy
man.
a house and I can buy whatever the fuck I want to now. So, and sometimes that's a great thing. Sometimes that's a wonderful thing, especially when you deserve it. But there's a lot of horrible people coming into this industry that are going to really destroy it, and maybe not destroy it,
Yeah,
but they're going to take it over.
yeah, man. Yeah. I
Yeah.
try to keep a positive outlook, but yeah, there's a lot of evil coming into the scene, man.
At the same time,
Um,
like I said, though, the craft cannabis, though, I mean, you look at say the microbrews in Oregon, Colorado, and they're flourishing. There's some great microbrews that they have small breweries and they're producing some incredible beer. And that's the same thing with cannabis. When you got some really good grows producing the best weed, that's the top end people. That's what they want. They want the $3 gram. They don't want that crap. They want the best.
yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah, I see a lot of guys at the gas station grabbing an 18 pack of Bud Light down here, and I just shake my head and keep it moving. I'm like,
Yeah, that's
dude, you could spend $10 and have something way better and drink way less, and
totally, totally.
I'm like, whatever, like
Or you can have some piss water and do your thing.
yeah,
And I'm from
yeah,
Colorado, so Coors is a huge thing in Colorado, and Coors makes me sick. That stuff is
yeah,
disgusting. I
bro.
can't believe people drink any form, fashion of it.
Yeah, dude, it's so monotone and just plain Jane, man. Like I'd rather have something that tastes better and drink 2 beers
Right?
instead of fucking 8. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Um, so what okay, so I asked you what's one thing you're proud of? What's one thing that you wish you could have done differently as far as your journey in cannabis? Were there any mistakes or anything or misfortunes that
I guess I
you
would. One thing I would have done more studying. I guess I would have done more research. I would have done more school. More. I wish I would have gotten into this a little deeper on the school end. I think if
like
that would have
botany and
happened, I would have
stuff?
been a lot more educated. I've had to learn a lot of this stuff trial and error, which sucks. I mean, it's taught me a lot at the same time, which has shown me what not to do. But at the same time, I failed on a lot of things. But overall, I'm pretty proud of how things are going. I mean, we've had some fuck ups this year. I just the other day, actually, it was last night, in fact. One of the cloners, or actually all three of these cloners, they got unplugged from this power stripper, and they all died, or at least a good portion of them. And that was a great zeros at the farm moment. But things are what they are in the cannabis field. I mean, we have thousands of clones and stuff, but it sucks to lose a few hundred clones.
Yeah,
everyone has
dude.
mistakes, and I mean, things fail and these fuck up, but you got to keep on pushing, and you got to keep on doing your thing and succeed.
I agree.
Succeed's the only
man.
option.
Yep, chalk it up and press on, man. Everybody loses.
Yep.
It's part of the game. If you're gonna play a game, you're gonna lose sometimes. So
Yeah, totally. You're gonna lose no matter what. So I mean, be expected for it and build yourself up from it, and learn from your mistakes. Because if you don't make mistakes, then I don't know. You're better than me because I've made a lot of them.
Hell yeah, same, bro, same. Totally. Truth, man. My next cookie cutter question: when did you get into extraction? I guess you talked about that a little bit. Is that when you linked up with Ari in Oregon because he was already doing it?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, it was several years before Ari, though. I got into it with my friend Tommy. This guy Tommy Ballman that I knew from a long, long time ago. I met up with him, and that's when we started open blasting and just doing tons and tons of stuff with that. And I was making some crazy oil, and I'd never ever smoked BHO before. I was just I smoked some of that, and I was like, holy shit, what is this stuff?
Yeah.
And we started blasting just tons of pounds and pounds and pounds and making, it was decent stuff. It was all right, but I mean, I'm sure it wasn't purged enough. But regardless, it was some decent pull and snap, crap. It wasn't quite shatter, but then all of a sudden we came up with when everyone was getting ovens and stuff, and everything got better and better and better.
Yeah.
And I moved out here, and I met up with Ari, and Ari's just a master. Ari and his crew, this guy Forrest, was an incredible extraction artist, and I found some of the best oil and some of the best stuff, and I was just like, wow, this is what I love. I love the extraction. I love smoking flower too, but the oil is where I'm at. The best tasting, the best terpiest oil. Once again, another company out here, Flapjacks Extracts, is incredible. They produce some of the firest oil out here in Oregon.
No doubt. Yeah, Will's one of those guys. Like I'm a flower guy. I might do like Pig Farm said, I might do one dab a month. I was like, man, me too, dude. Like maybe once a month I'll do a dab. Like I can't sleep.
I do a dab as soon as I wake up. That's like my first routine in the morning is taking a big old fat dab, and that's what wakes me up in the morning.
That's awesome, man. I load a bowl of flour, like that's my routine. But I mean, if I'm celebrating and I want to get loose, when I get dab high, I don't want to do much. I just want to chill and listen to music. You know what I mean? And so
right.
I
guess I've gotten a huge tolerance to it, but I've been smoking a lot of rosin. The rosin's my go-to now since my partner Ari with Elephant Extracts. I mean, he makes the fire. Well, him and this guy Carlos there, they make some incredible stuff, man.
Okay, yeah, that leads me to my next question, man. Is you told me earlier before, I think through email or text, that you guys are focusing on solventless now. And
yeah.
Why did you guys
Why
did you choose to focus on that instead of BHO? Sorry, man. Go ahead.
Well,
go hard,
mainly,
bro.
Mainly they were going crazy with the BHO thing. They were going up to Portland to do this huge licensing up there, and Ari spent probably $100,000 on this, trying to get this project running up there, and it just didn't work out. So he decided, you know what, I'm going to go over to Lincoln City where I've already got a shop. I'm going to set this up, and I'm going to do this the right way, solventless. And he's got that set up now. Now, all of a sudden, he's ready to do distillate, and they've got that totally legalized. So he's set, I mean, he's going to be making some super fire, but the solventless thing really impressed me because I was all BHO. That's all I really liked was really good BHO, some really good live resin. But since he's been pumping me with this good rosin. Some of this rosin is seriously incredible. The terps are just incredible on it. This banana punch, I think it is pretty incredible. Million Elephant Farms is the one that produced the flour for it, but
Tight.
it's some pretty impressive oil.
So, I mean, that has to be advantageous too, right? To be a farm that's producing heavyweight and have an extractor basically in house that can do BHO and solventless.
Totally, and we have a dispensary as well. So I mean, everything just gets flown around, and everything works out perfectly with this little union.
No doubt, man. Vertically integrated.
Yeah, a bunch of our outdoor stuff went to Elephant Extracts last year, and so they produced a bunch of Sour Patch Kids and some crazy stuff. So
That's tight, dude. That's tight because you can basically adjust to whatever the market needs too, man. It's like you can
right.
just do your own projection on what happened last year and who you have fucking going for it this year. So it's like, man, this guy's gonna crush on sales. I think we'll get 5% more on this oil. So let's move these
Totally.
packs to extraction. Like that's and dude, the data on your spreadsheets must be deep, man. And that's awesome. Like
So
like
that's one of
having shit
the
like that
data
to
stuff.
look at rules.
I just added that to our website from Seed Finder to Pollination Elite Genetics as pneg.biz. But I just added this thing from Seed Finder that has almost all our genetics listed down from the mother, everything about them, and the same with the father. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, man, I like those guys too. It goes pretty deep with everything. Like I I gotta ask this question too because it's related. How do you feel about Phylos Bioscience? Because their galaxy is similar to Seed Finder's little chart that drops down. But have you ever submitted any of your genetics to Phylos?
No, I don't think. Actually, I don't think any of ours are. And in truth, I've never even heard of it. So that's kind of a interesting thing. If you could text that to me after this, I'd be grateful to send them some info.
Okay, cool, dude. I'll hit you up with that. We're well into our interview now, so
Well, that's good. They don't have your genetic.
yeah, man, that is good. That makes me feel better. Yeah,
They might. Who knows? They might have it on there. I haven't actually checked it, but
yeah. Maybe
we'll see.
somebody
We've
grabbed some
actually
beans
stayed
and submitted
pretty
it.
low key. We've never been a big thing. We've never got licensed. We've never tried to go that far. Which I've had opportunities from several different people, and I know Ryan has as well. But we want our stuff to be actually affordable and want it to be something that people can enjoy and actually grow themselves. And something that's not going
Okay,
to fucking hurt me out
yeah,
for
yeah.
$500. That just blows my mind.
I agree, dude. I went and looked at your guys' website, and I think that's dope too. Because most guys, you have to go to some library to get their seeds for 100 or 200 a
Yeah,
pack, and
some
on your
bullshit
guys'
seed bank or
website,
whatever. Why not
dude.
spend a
And
few $100 and make your own website?
yeah, dude, and your guys's are like 60 and $80 for 10 packs, and I'm like, holy shit, like that's so. It's such a because to me, dude, I'm common man. I'm working class, poor, more or less. You know what I mean? I have my interest in this industry, and I've tried my hand at it, but it's like I appreciate when guys do stuff like that, and to me, I think that's a really good look for your company. I'm trying to rep you guys
And,
wherever I
and
go
that's
from
what
now
we
on.
actually we sold most of our stuff for $50, and this was like fucking 8 years ago. We sold it for
Yeah,
$50 and we upped it to 60 just because that's how things go
yeah,
sometimes.
it's
But
worth it. Yeah, man,
no matter
it's
what,
worth
we've
it.
tried to make it super affordable for people and try to make it effective because you get thousands of seeds off plants. People trying to say they're not getting rich off this is bullshit. When you're selling
Yeah,
$500 for a 10 pack, that's just
yeah,
smack in the face for especially for some F1s. Everything of ours is proven.
yes,
Everything of ours is F3 that'll be guaranteed. It will not hermy on you. I've never had
yeah.
any problems in any of my gardens with it. And I've never had
Uh,
actually I've returned 2 packs to people, and that's over thousands and thousands of packs.
Yeah, man. I believe it, bro. Like that's I
I know
appreciate you
I know
guys
our
for
genetics
doing
are
that.
solid, and I can't wait till you get yours too, man. I can't wait till you get
Y-
your packs. Grow them up
Yeah,
and
man.
let me know.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so we got a question from Mitch in production. He says explain hermie, hermaphrodite. And yes, Mitchell, sometimes when you breed two plants, they'll produce seeds, but sometimes those seeds will hermaphrodite, meaning they'll pollinate themselves and make more seeds without having a male in the room, and so those
And
genetics
a
aren't
lot of times that's
stable.
from an unstable genetic or some sort of flaw with the genetics, and it causes the other
Yeah,
plant to produce both male and female sex hormones, which produces seeds, and boom, your whole crop's ruined. I mean, maybe not your whole crop,
yeah.
but a little chunk of it. You've got seeds everywhere.
Yeah, and it's
Yep.
like if you bring a pack to a dispensary and the shit looks fire, but 10 customers come back complaining like, "Yo, I found these 10 seeds in this fucking eighth," you know? Like it looks bad on your
Yeah,
company.
exactly. You don't
Yeah.
need seeds. You're supposed to be growing females, and that should be all it is.
Yeah, and I remember this one strain when I was at Kings of Canna. Do you know Proof Cultivar? You know who those guys are?
No.
Okay, it's PRUFCULTIVAR. They had this strain called Smarties that was form cut cookies with Blue City Diesel. And
Hmm.
holy shit, dude, it was like such a clean, like upbeat sativa. Like it was bomb. It smelled like berries and it was just like tight little cookie nugs. But dude, like after the first round, it was everything was hermed out. And I was just like, damn, I hope you guys can figure that out because I really like that
Yeah.
strain. You know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
wasn't stable.
I'm
So
sure
it's like,
it was
Fuck.
some sort of stressor, some light leak or something like that. Because I've had that on a couple of my grows where I have a small little pinhole light leak somewhere. And
yeah,
on indoor, I
Fuck.
mean, on outdoor, for some reason, you can have the moonlight, you can have all sorts of shit. But if you have one little pinhole in indoor, you get Hermes.
yeah. I
And
would
that
always, man,
happens. I mean, I'm telling you though, with pollination elite genetics, I have not had that problem. I have not at all. I
yeah.
had this one big little gap in this one room I had, and no problems with that. But
When
I'm not going to name the people, but there's several people that I've had some issues with their genetics.
yeah, well,
Fuck Proof Cultivar on another note.
it,
They're exactly who is big cannabis coming in to try to take over everything. They own like multiple
Well,
dispensaries. There are multiple companies under one name. And they honestly, they shady ass business practices too. I've heard like multiple stories from people who've worked with them and worked in their grow that they have bugs, they spray like nasty shit, or they did. And honestly, it's kind of annoying. They own Pharma now, which used to be, it's was one of the best dispensaries
ah, damn.
before they sold out. And
I liked
you know,
Pharma. They
yeah,
run Hawthorne too, man.
yeah, but I'm not gonna say names because I feel like people mostly know what I'm talking about. But certain individuals sold himself out too by going with Proof Cultivar in my mind. Um,
exactly,
that
exactly.
Yeah, and so I don't know. Just really don't have a lot of good things in my mind about that company, and I'm not afraid to share them.
Well, there's a
Oh,
lot of
good,
huge
Will.
companies that I'm telling you, they're going to come in and just trample this marijuana industry. Everyone's going to be smoking mids. That's going to be the main thing, unless you want to spend a little bit of money, just like for craft beer or whatever. There's going to be some
Yeah,
good growers and there's going to be some good places to get stuff, but your main stuff is going to be Marlboro or Camel, and that's going to
yeah,
Yep,
be how it is.
yeah. I
that's
feel
Proof
like
Cultivar.
I feel in my head I'm projecting $100 an ounce for mids, $200 for craft as far as ounces go on the shelf when it goes federal. You know what I mean? Like,
Shit, there's people selling fucking ounces out here for $50 out in Oregon, and this stuff's not super bad. I mean, it smells good, it's green, it's crystally. Like
yeah,
ounces out here in Oregon are going for pennies.
yeah, dude, super fucking cheap, man. Like,
Yeah,
it's
But people
yeah. Well,
like
when
everywhere.
the
you
guy you
got
had on last week, Pig Farmer, that guy grows some fire, man. One of my
Yeah,
partners makes diamonds off of his product, and it's incredible, man. I'm always interested in anything he's got. The stuff is incredible.
I agree, man. He's in my top five. Like he, just everything that we ever. It didn't matter what strain it was. I'm like, fuck, that shit's tight, man.
Yeah,
And
I've got some
you
Scooby Snacks diamonds and some Mad Max diamonds still. I've got maybe like 4 dabs of each one of them, but they're incredible, man. The
word
terps are
and
just out of line on it.
yeah, and he talked about herming a little bit too when he was on. He would some plants, if they hermed out too much, he would discontinue them. But um that's I was gonna add to that question. When I did intake at Human Collective, you were talking about this too, about light leak. uh when growers would come in, sometimes they'd have some bomb, and it's like patients would find those seeds and come back and complain. So the next time I'd see the grower, I'm like, yo, there's seeds in that. He's like, oh man, everything's legit. And I'm like, were these the plants by the door? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, how many lights do you have in you? He's
Exactly.
like, man, like 5. I'm like, I bet you these were the plants by the door. He's like, what? And I'm like, can you
And
isolate those next time and not add them to the batch and see if that's true? And he was just like, yeah. And he'd come back in. He's like, you were fucking right. I'm like, bro, it is just a tiny bit, bro. Like that,
what's sad to
it'll
say though
touch.
is some of those seeds might have been super fire. I mean, it came from
Yeah,
some crazy genetics and whatnot, but like some of the best stuff has come from accidents. Like golden goat from some guy's backyard. He had I think it was Romulan and Island sweet skunk bred, and it made golden goat, and that's where that incredible strain came from.
yeah, Gorilla Glue too. They said that was a happy accident. You know what I mean? Like something hermed
Gorilla
Right?
out, and it
Glue
got
is a
pissed and
great
was like,
strain.
"Fucking goddamn it, fuck this room," and then came back to it a couple years later and was like, "I'm gonna crack those," and ended up being fire.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I thought that
Exactly. I
was a
mean,
pretty
there's some
good story
amazing stuff
too.
that comes from accidents. In fact, I think almost everything comes from an accident. Well, maybe not an accident, but like the whole cookie thing, that came from just a huge blam. And all of a sudden they were making stuff. But then people started crossing their stuff and making super fire stuff. And that's what I think the game's all about. I think that's like a lot of our stuff, like for instance, our male of Loud Sour was used from James Loud Seeds, the Loud Sour line, and it was fucking
Word.
incredible, man. And I want to give props to those kind of people. That's they helped us to produce some incredible genetics and helped us produce some incredible quality. And that's how cannabis, I think, should be going. Is people should be keep on jumping and jumping and jumping. But unfortunately, like there's too many people doing it, and too people that they don't know what they're doing, and they're trying to release all sorts of crap, and people are buying
Yeah,
into it, and it's ruining things.
yeah, man. It is. That's why I'm glad I have you on the show, man. Because I've had a couple of breeder guys on the show before, but I was really impressed with your guys' work, and I never got a chance to shake hands with you yet. But it's good to interview you on the podcast, man.
Yeah,
Because
we'll definitely have to meet up one of these days, man.
yeah, next time I come to Oregon, I'm definitely gonna hit you up.
Yeah,
Um,
and same thing. I got your number now, so I'll hit you up when I'm heading to your neighborhood. But enjoy those seeds,
yeah,
man. Pop them in and enjoy them.
no doubt. I'm going to for sure. Hopefully we can give a pack away on the show or something too, man.
Oh
If
yeah,
if
of
you
course. If you need more of them too, just hit me up. I'll definitely promote some of that.
No doubt, no doubt. Cool, man. I'm gonna switch back to my cookie cutter questions here, Ryan. What do you feel was the most difficult thing about expanding to more than one state? Because you guys are in 3 states now.
Yeah, well, elephant extracts. They're actually it's kind management down there, but they're producing down in Oregon, making some incredible oil with some good people, Bobby Dabs and some other fucking awesome people. And so that's down in California. Then out here in Oregon, we've got Elephant Extracts, the Turk Collective, and Elephant Farms, and of course Pollination with me because that's where I'm at. But
Yeah,
we're producing some awesome flower. They're selling some great stuff, and Extracts is making some great rosin. But in Colorado, my partner Ryan Rice, he's a true genius behind the whole pollination line, though. I mean, he was the master behind making the incredible crosses with the white and a few things that really started this company.
that's dope. So, like, I mean, just to further, like, what was the hardest part about being in more than one state, man? Like, because there's,
The hardest part is actually, I don't know about communication, but just being there for your friends and actually doing things in other places. Like in Colorado, I miss a lot of people like Ryan. It's hard for me
yeah,
to, it's great talking on the phone and whatnot, but it's lives split apart and things kind of get shitty.
I agree, man. I've had to find my producer is out there in Oregon still. Well, actually Washugo. He's on the other side of the river, but I used to
Yeah,
be
like
able
you
to
were
link
talking
up
about, I
with
mean,
him
all your
whenever.
people are all over the country making the show happen. So, I mean, you
Y-
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I miss being able to go and like, hey, are you busy tomorrow? Let's link up and record something. So I've had to find other music homies down here that I can have that relationship because talking on the phone is different and just sending emails.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, man, let's do some work, man. Like,
And I fell off Facebook for a while because I was on there every day promoting. And in fact, I promote a lot of like happy things, a lot of positive stuff. But
yeah,
lately, I kind of fell off of it. I didn't want to do it. I was just sick of people's crybaby attitudes, and it was just, oh, poor me. This is happening to me. I don't want to hear that shit. You guys should be on there talking about happy things. I understand you want
yeah,
to, you want to let out your sad thoughts and stuff like that, but you're bringing other people down.
yeah, yeah. I try to just promote artists and businesses and crack jokes. I try to
Yeah,
follow
me too. That's the same thing. I post positive things and crack jokes and post pictures of weed. That's one thing I'm famous
yeah,
for is my pictures of weed.
yeah. I try to follow some hot girls that tell dirty jokes, so it's like
There you
easier to
go.
laugh
Exactly.
at. All right. So my next question, what do you feel made your expansion to other states easier? Um like
Um, Facebook, Instagram, knowing people, high times events, chalice, those type of things, meeting up with people, actually getting out and actually running into people and developing relationships. I mean, that's swung my business in the right direction. I've sold tons of seeds to people, and with the extracts thing, I mean, we're meeting up with people and actually just distributing a lot of stuff, which is amazing too. Because like I said, in Oregon, it's a hard market. So
yeah. Hell yeah, dude. It's
this is a this is a
competitive
this is
and
a definite crazy experience. This has been my dream though. This has always been when I was growing up. I thought I'm going to grow pot and I'm going to be some serious crazy guy or whatever. And then I end up doing this for my living, which is funny too because I have a degree in drug and alcohol counseling. So I
that's
got into this.
awesome.
I got into this out of a crazy thing, but I've always loved pot. I've always loved getting high, and I think that people need to enjoy themselves in a proper way, and marijuana is
Yeah.
not going to hurt anybody.
Yeah, I agree, dude. It's safe, you know?
Yep.
You're
And
not going
you
to want to
smoke enough
fight.
of it, it's going to get you knocked on your ass.
Yeah, you're not going to want to fight your buddy because you smoke too much weed, you know?
Yeah, exactly. With alcohol, I mean, in truth, alcohol should be illegal. Don't get me wrong. I like having a couple beers, but that's the problem. People can drive all day long on weed, but you drink 10 beers and all of a sudden you're slamming into people, getting
Yeah,
DUIs and going to prison and ruining your families.
no doubt, no doubt. So, I want to open it up for anybody who is listening right now. If you want to call in and ask any questions of Ryan Lutz from Pollination Elite Genetics, Elephant Farms, Elephant Extracts, and Sweet Leaf Extractors, the number is 1-833-777 DABS. That's 1-833-777-3227. Um, is there anything else that you want to talk about, Ryan? Like
No, just
man,
like basically, like I said, I think that marijuana industry is it's going in a bad direction. I'm happy it's
yeah,
legal for people, but I really think that gonna be falling apart unless you support the people that are actually producing and making the quality. A lot
yeah,
of people are buying these $3 crap grams and all this stuff, and I think that that's kind of ruining things. You need to support the people growing the good. That's what you need to look for, because the Budweisers and the crap shit is gonna be there. Don't worry about that.
Yep.
yeah, man. I rock with Ninkasi as far as beers go. They're a brewery from Oregon, and I have to look for them down here. But when I find it, I'm like, yeah,
And
and
that's going to happen all over the nation once cannabis becomes actually legal federally. Is it's going to be actually
yeah,
be transported to other places. and people are going to be able to try Geek Farm stuff or Elephant Farm stuff or, pollination stuff here and there. And it's going to be like,
Yeah.
wow, it's going to be the craft stuff you sold in stores. Hopefully, I'm hoping that's
Yeah.
what it's going to be.
I agree. It gives
But
me
it takes
hope
money,
too.
though. It takes a lot of money to be able to produce the packaging and to be able to do that kind of stuff. And unless you're a big corporation, a lot of people can't afford that.
Yeah, I agree, man. That's why we're trying to do podcasts and such too, to promote said companies for, doing good work, because the news, whenever there's anything in the news about cannabis, it just skims over the surface. And as far as input from anybody who is in the industry, they get like one quote. You know what I mean? They'll have like two people
Exactly.
with,
And I appreciate this show. You guys have let me talk, and I'm sure I blab a little much, but I
nah,
appreciate the chance
dude,
to
like
actually
That's
express
been
my
great,
feelings.
man.
that's what we want, bro. Like, man, when we had Smiley on here, dude, it was like the easiest episode ever. That guy just went on and on. It was like, man, for real. It's that's what we're looking for. We're trying to create some good content and hear from your point of view, because everybody knows, like,
There's a lot of good people in this industry. There's a lot of snakes in this industry too. There's a lot of horrible people that I've met and a lot of people destroying it. But at the same time, there's a lot of really good people and a lot of great people that I've met and have helped me out with my growing career and helped me out with information. And
yeah,
I
man,
respect a lot of people I met. I've met some trash, but at the same time, I've met some kings. So,
yeah, man.
I'm thankful for my life. I'm thankful for who I am. I'm thankful for my little boy. I'm thankful for everything.
Same, dude. When I meet somebody new, I'm always like trying to figure out what their experience is with weed, and it's like if they haven't, like if they're just some corporate dude trying to get into it, then it's hard for me to trust the guy. You know what I mean? And
Totally.
it just like, I don't know, community is everything. That's why I like the podcast too, because um I've I've never met you before, dude, but I followed you on IG for a long time, and I ran your gear outdoors. So just like, man, I'm gonna send him a message. And
Yeah, that was awesome. When you called
dude,
me up and told me about that, I was like, that is fucking cool, dude. That was how ironic that
yeah,
you were the one that met us. That's
yeah,
just crazy to me because I was like, I have to have some Mike's fucking Geek Farms Doctor Who.
yeah, yeah, man. Well,
Unfortunately, it was in the tin can and it wasn't anything impressive or anything. But I actually got some fire ass Doctor Who from Mike when we went to saw him like 2 days later. So,
yeah,
but
man.
thank you very much. It was great to talk to you, and this is a wonderful experience now too. I mean, it's great the media and everything. So even though I got a crappy
Yeah,
tin can, it was great great meeting you.
no doubt. All right, so I got a few more questions before we wrap up, if that's okay with you, Ryan.
Yes, sir.
Um, can you please plug your social media and your website?
Yeah, my social media, I just have a Ryan Lutz. They shut my Pollination Elite Genetics on Facebook, but my
Ah,
Instagram is Pollination Elite Genetics with underscores, and we have a website of pneg.biz. And you can order seeds.
PNEG.biz, folks. That's where
Yes,
it's at.
sir.
They got fire beans, man. Like, you can just look at the menu and see what you're looking for as far as effects or terpene profiles.
And I promise you,
Um,
these seeds have been super fucking conducted in the utmost fashion. Nothing is an F3 or lower. We have
no
back
doubt.
crossed everything so that there is no fucking Hermes. That's the one thing that just it makes me sick to my stomach when people have this shit. I understand when people have problems in their room with light leaks and stuff, but when, like I said, the Cookie family, who the fuck is releasing this crap for $500 a pack and it's Hermian? Like 87% of the pack's Hermied. That's fucking
Damn, that's
ridiculous.
crazy. Yeah, that's
Why
bad.
would you
That's
release
not
that
bad.
crap?
Yeah. Cash grab, man. Cash grab.
And they hear fucking Burner's name, and all of a sudden, that's where it's at.
Yeah. Because, man, I like Burner's raps, but I don't know how
No, don't get me wrong. I
outside
do too.
in.
I'm not trying to diss him at all, but at the same time, I
Uh,
think they got a little money hungry and they're releasing stuff that shouldn't be released. And I don't know if that was them or if it was their business partners, who the fuck it was, but come on, guys, bring it
yeah.
down to a fucking decent level and don't do that stuff. That's wrong.
Yeah. I remember seeing an
Test
interview
your
with him
shit.
where,
Test them.
he was talking about he was gonna expand to other cities, and then he decided not to because he couldn't guarantee the work from other people. So maybe someone else did try to
Well, you know what? I respect that
make
though. I
beef and sell
respect that.
him. You know.
If you can't have someone doing the work for you and they're not making it up to your property or your thought level, then that's fine, you know. But
Yeah,
I just think
yeah,
that if people are going to be dropping stuff and trying to help people out and dropping their name on it, they need to have some quality.
no doubt, no doubt.
I guess I was raised in a different generation.
No doubt. So, my next question: what are your current goals in the industry?
um, I guess I really don't have too many current goals in the industry. I mean, we got everything going right now. We got a dispensary, an extraction lab, a farm. Uh, I got the breeding company. I think that everything's going pretty well. And I think another seed breeding company is going to be coming on the line pretty soon. I'm just kind of slowly repping that, but I'll definitely be announcing soon. But yeah, we're trying to
Damn.
produce some new shit and make some new stuff happen, and doing things for the future. You always got to have new things coming out. So
No doubt, man. So what sort of ideas would you like to promote in the future, as far as the industry
honesty,
or honesty? Dude,
honesty,
I
be
love that.
trustworthy.
I love that, man.
That's one of the biggest things. Be trustworthy. Be honest. Don't fucking
Yeah,
bullshit people. Just be truthful and handle your business in a proper way. I don't understand why people have to be so shady and so money hungry. You can make money being a solid person, and sadly enough, people don't do that.
I agree, man. I agree. Honesty is the best policy. I say that often, probably like 2 or 3 times a day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep, I agree. That's what
because
my mom always taught me: treat people how you want to be treated, and that's how I've
yeah,
always expressed my life and who I try to be.
no doubt, no doubt. So, Will, is there anything you want to ask?
No, nothing more on my
All
end.
right,
I think we
all
got it.
right. Yeah, well, it's pretty late over there on the East Coast, man. It's midnight for Will Terps already. So,
Well,
is there
good night to
anything
all
else
you
you want to
guys.
talk?
Have a peaceful evening. Hopefully you have a big bong to toke down, and there's some decent weed out there on the East Coast.
Yep,
Yeah,
I've got some decent herb, nothing like Oregon, but I'll be happy to finally get back. I've got some dabs waiting in my fridge. So
Anytime you come out here, give me a call, man. I'll hook you up.
absolutely, sounds good, man.
yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on the show, Ryan. I'll send you
Yeah,
the
thanks,
link
Ryan.
from Spotify and YouTube once we got them. Um, Dude, man, really, really good interview, man. We appreciate you, and then hopefully we can do a follow-up interview in the future.
Yeah, of course. I'm always on the agenda, man. Hit me up. It was an honor to talk to you guys. So it was seriously an honor when you guys called me. So
Cool, man. Thanks. We
Heck
appreciate you
yeah.
too, man. Much love, much respect. We'll hit you up in the next couple days with the links, man. I hope you have a good night.
sounds good. You guys have a good night too. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right, later.
Later.
All right, Will Terps. What did you think, Will Terps?
Word. That was dope.
Yeah, man, he's a really cool cat, man. Too bad we couldn't get Ari on there, but maybe we can get him on the
Yeah,
follow-up interview. I'm gonna
totally.
go ahead and do my outro dance, folks. This was the 12th episode of Concerned Dabs podcast. I was your host, Katie M. Kane. With me was my host, Will Terps.
Yo,
Yeah,
signing
boy.
off.
I got to give a shout out to my guys in production, Mitchell Wilson and Jesse Curry. This has been a Main Node and Joseph Street Enterprise production.